Local news. Better time. This is Fox Wilmington News at 7. Streaming live on foxwilmington.com.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Fox Wilmington News at 7. I'm Marissa Hunley. New details tonight in a possible drowning out of Tabor City. Today, police pulled a man's body from Tabor Lake. This after a witness heard screams coming from the water early yesterday morning. We now know that victim's name, Timothy Coleman. But what we don't know is why Timothy was in the lake. Here's what a close friend told us today.
He was a very kind person. He was kind of quiet when he was little. Timmy would give you the shirt off his back. He was just that type person, you know. He was a real kind person.
And back at Tabor Lake, she remembers growing up and playing with Coleman. She says this loss has hit the entire town very hard. Kenneth Boyd taught Coleman in the 7th grade. When he heard the news, he says it tore him apart.
Well, I feel sad, you know, as a teacher, a former teacher and everything, we like to see all of our kids be successful, and that's, you know, that's what we're in the business for. And he seemed to be a success in his business, and it's just sad to see him go.
And in New Hanover County, the body of a marina worker recovered in Carolina Beach. It happened yesterday afternoon at Joyner Marina. Police say the victim and a co-worker were cleaning the bottom of a boat. The co-worker called 911 and first responders pulled him out of the water. Police are waiting to notify that man's family before releasing his identity. A masked teenager carrying a pellet gun prompts 3 schools to shelter in place. A witness saw 16-year-old Samuel Hobbs wearing a mask, armed with a pellet gun on Bradbury Court this morning. A pool maintenance worker pulled out his handgun and demanded Hobbs stop. Hobbs ran into the nearby woods, prompting 3 schools to go into lockdown: Anderson Elementary, Murray Middle School, and Ashley High School. Here's a look at Hobbs and the gun he was carrying. The teen was arrested at his home, and his gun was found in the woods nearby. He did receive a conditional release to his mother. Happening tonight, crews are working to repair a broken water line in Brunswick County, where a state of emergency is still in place, as well as mandatory water restrictions. County commissioners did meet today to discuss a plan of action, and Fox Wilmington's James Johnson has the details.
Brunswick County Commissioner Scott Phillips says he's even more relieved tonight after speaking with his public utilities director, but says they're still not out of the woods just yet, and he's still advising residents on what steps they need to take.
So we are extremely encouraging customers to continue conservation measures until we have that bypass in place, as well as the permanent repair of the 48-inch water line.
Emergency Services is not sure when the completion of this project will be done, but they plan on wrapping up work on the bypass sometime next week. In Brunswick County, James Johnson, Fox Wilmington News.
3 people now in custody for their part in a deadly home invasion. Authorities say Tamara McCoy, Aaron Pridgeon, and Elijah Brown conspired to rob Danya Griffith in his home in Bladen County. Shots were fired. Griffith died. McCoy, Pridgeon, and Brown are now all charged with murder. One other suspect is on the run, police say, Africa Shipman. You can see more details on this story on foxwilmington.com.
Friday will be a day of change across southeastern North Carolina as we take a look at the forecast here on your Friday. We'll start off with lots of sunshine, I think, early in the day, but clouds increasing as we head into the afternoon hours, and rain chances also increasing as well as winds shift around to the northwest behind a strong cool front. Shower chances ramping up during the afternoon and Friday evening, and then sharply colder temperatures Friday night into Saturday. I'll break down the complete first alert forecast coming up in a few moments.
All right, thanks, Eric. A man is recovering tonight after a driver hits him with a vehicle, then drives away. It happened at the intersection of Market Street and South Carr Avenue in Wilmington last night, just after 7 o'clock. Officers found the man in the road. A broken side mirror was next to him in the street. His injuries were not life-threatening, but he was taken to the hospital. Police do not have a description of the vehicle. Well, it's his life's work to create something sweet, but for one beekeeper, Hurricane Matthew turns things sour. And pet perseverance, amazing pictures of survival and rescues.
You're watching Fox Wilmington News at 7.
He's in jail, off the street, and charged with 31 sex crimes. Jared Chrisman from Bolivia faces 15 counts of indecent liberties with a minor and 15 more for statutory rape. Arrest warrants say the incidents happened between June and September. Chrisman was booked under a $750,000 bond. Well, Hurricane Matthew deals a stinging blow. A beekeeper watches his livelihood literally drown. He lost nearly all of his hives during the storm. Chelsea Donovan has this story from Bladen County.
Pretty ugly, huh?
Beekeeper John Harris stands over a pile of thousands of dead honeybees.
But this is what happens when your bees drowned. We lost well over 100 hives of bees.
More than $30,000 to $40,000 worth, says Harris. His business, Harris Apiary, sits on Harrison Creek in Bladen County. When Hurricane Matthew blew in, the creek overflowed its banks, washing away much of his life's work.
The water went up actually in the hives, and of course the water knocked down a lot of them off the stands. And once it knocked them off the stands, they were underwater and they completely drowned.
Piles of water damaged and rotten beehives sit around his shop, which is also damaged from flooding. Harris remains hopeful as he checks on existing hives. Some of his bees, thankfully, did survive.
You see how they're nice, white, and healthy? So this one should be able to make it through the winter.
Harris says the bee industry is much more than just honey. Our food is produced by pollination, and if you don't have bees, you simply don't have fresh fruits and vegetables. Another stark reminder of Hurricane Matthew's impact.
You don't have them this time of the year for the next spring. Everything is for next year in the bees. So if you don't have those bees, it'll take us all next year probably to even rebuild. Bees impact our lives so much. There's so much of our food that's produced from pollination.
The stories of survival continue to come after Hurricane Matthew, and that includes our furry friends. Check out these photos from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. They show teams rescuing pets in the aftermath of the storm. You can see crews lifting dogs into boats and feeding abandoned pets, everything from tiny rabbits to goats, pigs, and horses. Officers say they knew these rescues through the eyes of, or they viewed these rescues through the eyes of the pet owners.
When you've lost everything and you're in that haze, that fog, you have that fog look on your face like you just can't believe what happened. And then they come back to the staging point and they're asking about the pets. You know, I never saw the pet, but I did see the people and the concern that was on their face and their desire to get their pet out or their, like I said, the member of their family.
A member of their family and shelters say they will eventually have to put all of these unclaimed pets up for adoption. Well, a lot of interest in campaign 2016. Early voting started today across the state. In New Hanover County, more than 4,700 people waited in long lines to cast their ballots. In Pender County, around 1,900 voters came out, and in Brunswick, more than 2,800 voters. Early voting will last through November 5th. For a complete list of times and locations in your county, check out foxwilmington.com. Well, a recap from your last night's debate, plus your presidential candidates will be in North Carolina this weekend. Find out when and where.
And we're going to see some tremendous change in our forecast as we head towards our weekend. 80 degrees tomorrow ahead of a front, but look what happens to the highs by the weekend. 60s instead. We'll tell you about the big changes next. Lows in the 40s and 50s, some good sleeping weather. And again, we keep the forecast dry, so hopefully rivers continue to drop and some of those fields, those farm fields, continue to dry out.
Yeah, definitely. And a big thing that a lot of people are in town now for the Ironman triathlon. How's it looking for them on Saturday?
Yeah, the Beach to Battleship triathlon. Swimmers, I don't know about every year. It looks like temperatures could be in the 50s on Saturday morning, a little bit breezy too, but running and biking should be great for that.
Good weather. All right, thanks so much. Well, in our political notebook, Donald Trump today clarified his controversial declaration that rocked last night's debate, saying today he would accept the election of Hillary Clinton, but only if it is in Trump's words clean. Steve Handelsman has reaction to the debate. And both presidential nominees also plan to visit North Carolina in the coming days. Donald Trump will host a rally Friday just outside of Asheville at the Western North Carolina Agricultural Center in Fletcher. The event begins at noon, and tickets are still available on Trump's official website. And Hillary Clinton is expected to visit the Tar Heel State Sunday. The Charlotte Observer reports she'll campaign with Mothers of the Movement. It's a group of women connected by tragedy. Each has a child who died either while in police custody or as a result of police actions. There is no word on where exactly that campaign stop will be.
To me.
And here's what's coming up tonight on Fox Wilmington News at 10. This will make your skin crawl. An unsettling discovery at a haunted house, human bones. The bones are found in caskets donated to the house years ago. How they were discovered tonight on Fox Wilmington News at 10. And after the break, we honor a fire department member who spends more time at the station than anyone else. Tonight, we honor a special lady whose recognition for years of service is long overdue. She's on duty at Shallotte Fire Department 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and their top color guard performer. She also has a little bit of a weight problem. Fox Wilmington's Casey Roman had the honor of meeting this noble firefighter.
45 by Sunday morning, high temperatures only in the 60s.
All right, looking good to me. All right, there is a water restriction in place in Brunswick County. See you at 10 o'clock.
Local news, better time. This is Fox Wilmington News at 7, streaming live on foxwilmington.com.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on Fox Wilmington News at 7. I'm Marissa Hunley. Our top story tonight, 2 separate death investigations happening right now. One of those victims, a woman found dead inside an apartment. Wilmington police now calling the death suspicious. Fox Wilmington's Amanda Weston joins us live from that scene off of Dapple Court. Amanda, you've been there for several hours now. What have you learned?
Well, Marissa, the scene really has quieted down here for now. Earlier today, we've been out here for hours. Police cars were coming and going throughout the neighborhood. Now it seems to be mostly clear. Earlier today, neighbors were walking around trying to figure out what was going on and piece together what exactly happened. The details are still somewhat scarce at this point. We do know the victim was a woman in her 20s, and officials are treating the death as suspicious, but we don't have any more details about the identity of this woman or what exactly led up to her death. Now, the neighbors we spoke to said that nothing like this has happened here that they've seen, and they would describe this neighborhood as really more of a peaceful one with not a lot of action happening here. So when they heard the news, they were shocked, and now many of them say they're also afraid.
Gosh, man, first thing that went through my mind was it our friend? We have a friend that lives over there, and we've never experienced anything like this, and
we got nervous.
Yeah,
we wanted to come over here and check and see if our friend was all right.
And we have checked in with police just as recently as about 10 minutes ago, and they tell us there's no new information in the case at this time. We'll be sure to update you as soon as we get any new information in this investigation. Reporting live in Wilmington, Amanda Weston, Fox Wilmington News.
Thanks so much, Amanda. And let's get a look at the scene outside the second death investigation. This is at Shooter's Choice, an indoor gun range off of Gordon Road. Officials tell us a man died of a self-inflicted gunshot at the range. Deputies were called there around 2:45. It's still unclear if this shooting is connected to the one in Dapple Court. And continuing coverage tonight on a shooting from last week, we're hearing the 911 calls from that day when one man was shot in the leg near McRae and Walnut Streets in Wilmington.
I just heard one gunshot, but there's a guy who was screaming about killing someone.
And those 911 calls describe a fight before shots were fired. The victim told police he believed it was a drive-by shooting, but wasn't able to give a description of the vehicle. He is expected to be okay. A dozen families still trapped by floodwaters more than 2 weeks after Hurricane Matthew. No running water, no way to get to their jobs, and now running out of hope. These people have been blocked, water still flooding the roads leading both in and out of their Bladen County neighborhood. Chelsea Donovan has their story.
In the distance, far beyond the floodwaters, you can make out 2 people blocked in by a road that looks more like a pond.
Our road is blocked, and our neighbor on the other side, he does not want us trespassing his land anymore. So now we are blocked in. We can't get in or out.
Stuck, nearly deadlocked in their own homes. Elizabeth Rojas is one of 12 families with no way in and out of her neighborhood.
It's really, really frustrating. I have a 7-month-old son with no water in the house and no way to get in and out.
The community now has power, but no running water, as the pumps remain submerged. The main road leading in is underwater and only passable by this large army truck. And now, to make matters worse, their makeshift, already waterlogged other route is now being intercepted by the landowner, who doesn't want the trapped residents walking through his property.
Children, they're having to walk to school. They're having to walk out early in the morning.
Leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning and trekking 2 miles by foot to get to the bus stop on nearby Highway 53. We took the bumpy ride into the community with emergency management and FEMA Monday as they tried to figure out a solution.
There's no way out, so how are we gonna go to a hospital? So, because there's no, ambulance can't come through back here.
A dire situation for these residents and their families, and coming up with solutions is no easy task.
If we could just get help pumping the water in and out, that would be more. That's the only help we really need.
And FEMA, as well as Bladen County officials, are actively trying to get a pump brought in to get the water out there. The county has offered to put these folks in hotels, but many are just afraid of looters and don't want to leave their homes. And looking ahead, the governor talks about recovery efforts after Matthew. Governor Pat McCrory met today with members of the North Carolina congressional delegation at the Emergency Operations Center in Raleigh. The governor said the focus was on the severity of the storm, the actions taken by the state, and the best way to move forward.
North Carolina is resilient. We're strong. The people are fantastic. Our prayers are still with the families, the 27 families that were tragically impacted through their losses. And we're just glad there weren't any more, and we're proud of the heroes that saved many lives.
The top priorities continue to be raising money, getting folks out of the shelters and into their homes, and of course, rebuilding roads. In Pender County, families still in need of support following the hurricane are invited to a meeting tomorrow night to talk about their options. Pender County Schools and Emergency Management are holding that meeting. It will be held from 5 to 6 at Malpas Corner Elementary School.
And we can look forward to a nice evening in Wilmington. This is a live view right now from our battleship camera, looking into from the battleship into downtown. Clear skies. The current temperature 65 degrees, and the humidity currently nice and low at 73%, and dew point at 56. Winds are calm, but with the front moving in, we would expect winds to shift around to more of a northwestward direction in the next couple of hours. Temperatures falling through the 60s and down to about 50 degrees as you wake up tomorrow morning. We will see cooler weather for your Tuesday. We'll tell you how much cooler coming up in just a few moments.
All right, thanks, Eric. Their sense of community gone thanks to Hurricane Matthew's floodwaters. How these seniors move on from here. And the father of a famous country singer behind bars. What police say he did.
You're watching Fox Wilmington News at 7.
A place of refuge, community, and for many, the only family they have, gone. Hurricane Matthew caused major damage to one senior center in Columbus County. James Johnson has more on their plan for rebuilding.
I really feel sad about this place because when I get up to get ready to come down here to the senior citizen site, it made me feel good like I was going somewhere.
Vicki Floyd, Georgia Graham, and Cynthia Rory no longer have a place to ease life's distress. Vicki is surprised at what happened.
It's hard to see our town, our site looking like this. I never seen this before.
The senior center was damaged by floodwater from Hurricane Matthew. Cynthia feels the pain more than anything because all she knows is gone.
This is my second home, the center. My first home is here in Fair Bluff, which was underwater, so I've lost both homes at the moment.
Vicki says the center helped to form strong bonds amongst the seniors.
And it's the site, this is our family, that we can connect with each other, do things, projects, go places.
Michelle Dipple says the seniors helped her just as much as she helps them.
They reassure me. They they are the ones who have all the wisdom. And every day I'd leave from here, I would, learn something new from them.
And all that Cynthia hopes for is a town that will rebuild.
I'm praying that the businesses will come back, the center will reopen, and not back as usual, but better. And that's what I'm praying for.
And here's what's coming up tonight on Fox Wilmington News at 10 o'clock. Changing the way evacuations are handled in Carolina Beach following Hurricane Matthew. Right now, the town requires a sticker on vehicles in order to drive back over the bridge following a mandatory evacuation. The town manager now pitching to get rid of the decal and replace it with an ID card. What folks who live there think of this idea? That's tonight on Fox Wilmington News at 10. And also in Carolina Beach, the father of a popular country music singer arrested on several drug charges. Police arrested Clyde Beau Raymond Pickler this weekend. He's the father of country singer and former American Idol contestant Kelly Pickler. Police say Clyde Pickler tried to sell marijuana to a confidential informant at Cole's Motel on Raleigh Avenue. He's now in jail under a $10,000 bond. And in New Hanover County, students evacuated Gregory Elementary when a hoverboard caught fire inside. School officials say the hoverboard was taken outside where crews extinguished the fire. You may remember this summer when 500,000 hoverboards were recalled because of a fire risk. UNCW bans hoverboards from its campus in January. Well, the race to the White House continues. Why Donald Trump says the polls are now rigged against him.
Warm day in southeastern North Carolina. Actual high at ILM 79 degrees. We even had some 80s along the I-95 corridor, but temperatures about 10 degrees colder tomorrow. I'll explain why next. Coming up 1 week from now.
It's looking good. Thanks, Eric. Well, Donald Trump charged today that it's what he called phony polls that show him in growing trouble in the race for the White House, threatening to drag down fellow Republicans. Steve Handelsman has that story from Capitol Hill.
Ballots are tallied.
He is boarding a bus and riding through North Carolina. President Bill Clinton campaigning for his wife this week and coming to Wilmington. Mr. Clinton's bus tour will stop at Union Station Commons at Cape Fear Community College Wednesday morning. Doors open there at 9:30. The event starts at 10:30. And Thursday, Hillary Clinton is expected to campaign with First Lady Michelle Obama in Winston-Salem. And Donald Trump will be in Kinston Wednesday campaigning there. At UNCW, an NCAA tournament appearance, CAA championship, and a level of success not seen in a decade. It was a banner last season for the men's basketball team. Meanwhile, the women struggled to finish the season healthy. But as AJ Ricketts reports, that team is ready to move forward.
Your car breaks down to know that.
Well, after the break, it's a girl. Meet the newest unexpected member at the Pender County Animal Shelter. The state wants to know what you think about alligator hunting. Next week, the NC Wildlife Resources Commission and the NC Alligator Task Force will host meetings to get public input. The groups hope to develop an alligator management plan. One of the meetings will take place at the Leland Town Hall next Tuesday. That's from 7 to 9 p.m. In Pender County, a special delivery at the animal shelter there. Here she is. A donkey was born at the Pender County Animal Shelter after her mom was pulled from floodwaters following Matthew. The staff has decided to call her Maddie after the hurricane. The shelter is now caring for 7 total donkeys along with many other farm animals in addition to dogs and cats. And the shelter's manager says they need money to help pay the vet bills for all of these extra animals they've taken in after the storm. Well, Halloween may not be here yet, but it's already looking like Christmas. I can't believe this. In one beach town, here's a look at some of the decorations already up and lit in the town of Surf City. And Eric, especially after today's weather, that is hard to believe.
Yeah, just in case you were wondering, we've got exactly 2 months and 2 days of shopping until Christmas Day. So I thought I'd put that out.
I haven't even carved a pumpkin yet. I can't even think about buying Christmas gifts.
I'm with you, exactly. It's still a week till Halloween. I'm not there either. Let's take a look at the forecast, though. At least it's going to feel a little more like fall the next couple of days. Highs in the 60s, lots of sunshine, even some lows in the 40s. A little more seasonable, though, as we head towards the end of the week, and only a slight chance of a few showers on Thursday and Friday. Good-looking weekend and good-looking weather for Halloween next Monday.
All right, I can handle that weather for sure, but I do not want to think about Christmas at this point.
Too far away.
All right, thanks so much. We'll see you at 10 o'clock.